Hello, I'm Vine and today I have for you a Neverwinter Disciple character build. As the name suggests, this is a build inspired by first Neverwinter Nights minimaxed builds that used Scimitars and a Red Dragon Disciple prestige class. I've been wondering if there is a possible way to adapt one of these builds into the Pathfinder system and finally came up with this 20 levels character build, which is possible to make in Tabletop and in Wrath of the Righteous. But before we start, a reminder, everything that I don't point out directly is arbitrary for the build. Let's start with attributes. We need 18 points in strength and a charisma with non-negative modifier. There is no real dump stat for this build, but since we are going with human for this, we can safely drop intelligence to 8. For our race, we need to choose human for initial fit and +2 to strength. Alternatively, for a more aesthetic version of this build, any other race that has +2 to strength will do. From skills, we need Knowledge Arcana 5 ranks and ranks on every level in Intimidation in Tabletop or in Persuasion in CRPG. Next are levels and feats. As this build has many optional and legacy features, I decided to color code some of them. Key feats are marked red. Feats that are required for key feats are marked yellow. Feats from legacy features are marked blue. And don't get me wrong, every feat has a place here. But if, for example, you are using this build in Wrath of the Righteous with a Trickster mythic path, the blue legacy feats can and actually should be switched to the Trickster's improved critical feats. Black ones, on the other hand, can be moved up and down or replaced if necessary. With this out of the way, the first level of this build is in Mutation Warrior, a fighter archetype. As free feats, we will be taking here Weapon Focus Scimitar for +1 to our must-have weapon of choice and for Dazzling Display to intimidate enemies in close range, and for Shatter Defences later on, Intimidating Prowess to make Dazzling Display actually useful straight away if we wanna use it. On the second level, we take one level of basic Skald or an Archeologist from Bard archetypes. But which one to choose? Skalds can cast spells while using medium armor and shields, and can inspire rage, which in Tabletop increases strength, the attribute we are min-maxing. Archeologists, on the other hand, can cast spells while using only light armor and shields, but they have luck ability that accumulates with almost everything and get uncanny dodge on second level. So the rule is, if you already have a Skald in your party, go with Archeologists. Otherwise, pick Skald. Also, while picking spells to use, remember that spellcasting is quite diminished with this build, as we didn't really invest in charisma and probably will have only 5 caster levels top. So pick buffing spells that have at least minute per level caster level duration, like Expeditious Retreat, Feather Step, or Remove Fear on first level, and delay poison, invisibility, mirror image or heroism on second. Heroism is especially useful here as it lasts for 10 minutes per caster level and helps us hit harder. Now on third level we return to Mutation Warrior and take Skill Focus Intimidation to be better at scaring people, and Power Attack as a bonus combat feat to kill people harder. On fourth level, again Mutation Warrior for the Mutagen class feature that gives us an option to get +4 alchemical bonus to strength for 10 minutes per warrior level. On 5th level, last mandatory Mutation Warrior level, we take Weapon Specialization Scimitar to make our favorite weapon more useful, and Outflank or Furious Focus. Again, take Outflank only if someone else in the party has it. Furious Focus is Tabletop only feat, and take it only if you wanna take Dreadful Carnage feat later. Now we should have 5 ranks in Knowledge Arcana required by Dragon Disciple class that we will be taking on 6th to 9th level. Of course, when choosing a dragon, pick the red and only red one, as in Neverwinter Nights only this one was available. On 7th level, we get +2 strength from Dragon Disciple ability increase and take Cornugon Smash to intimidate our victims while hitting them. On 9th level, we get another +2 strength from Dragon Disciple ability increase and take Shatter Defences to flat-foot any intimidated opponents. On 10th level, we switch back to Skald or Archeologist for the last mandatory caster level and for talent feat in CRPG. Pick here improved critical Scimitar as a combat trick or ignore it. We can simply just use Scimitars with Keen feature. Now all 10 base levels for this build are finished. We get +8 strength in total from Draconic Blood and Alchemist steroids flowing through Neverwinter Disciple veins. Time to pick one class to maximize and stick to it until the 20th level. It can be any class we want, even a ranger if someone wanna recreate a particular dual scimitar wielding build, but the feats on the next levels are all the same. On 11th level, we take Lunge for more range to hit. On 13th level, we take Cleave. On 15th level, we take Cleaving Finish. On 17th level, we take Greater Cleave. On 19th level, we take Improved Cleaving Finish. That's the full main Cleaving Fit line as a legacy feature of this build. Quite late in game, I know, but this is designed to be switchable with the Trickster's improved critical fits and do not interfere with any feature from classes. Also, I promised you a full 20 level build, so let's take 10 levels in Mutation Warrior and build a monster with it. On 11th level, we take Heavy Blades as weapon training for more Scimitar bonuses and will be taking it on every weapon training from now on. On 12th level, we take Critical Focus for +4 crit confirmation. On 13th level, we take Feral Mutagen for Mutagen discoveries for wings later on. On 14th level, we take Dreadful Carnage to intimidate enemies on kill. On 16th level, we take Greater Weapon Focus Scimitar to strike more precisely. On 17th level, we take Feral Wings from Mutagen discoveries to fly while on Strength Drag. On 18th level, we take Greater Weapon Specialization Scimitar to strike more deadly. And on 20th level, we take Blinding Critical to, well, at least blind the hardy bastards that can survive a critical from our Scimitar. Now, time for evaluation. In tabletop, it's a beast. This character will hit hard, demoralize opponents, and even buff themselves to do it even more efficiently. But the true strength, pun intended, lies in flexibility, as this build can focus on features from Mutation Warrior, Skald, Archeologist, Dragon Disciple, or even the one later chosen class, and has a fit space in black and blue to do this. In CRPG, it's a tricky slasher. There is no sugarcoating here. This build was created with Trickster Mythic Path in mind to maximize crit fishing and hit hard with them, viable as the main character or a mercenary companion. As for the roleplay, this is an out-of-place character, a traveler from a different reality that has to relearn his craft as the old tricks do not work anymore. Or he may be just a regular madman that was traumatized by devils, although his stories about the plague, flying cities, draw armies and the journey through hell sound oddly familiar. So, what do you think about this build? Write your opinion in the comments and see you later!